Okay, and welcome to Rise Tribe Podcast. We have the most beautiful guest with us today, Marg Bell. Hi, Marg. How are you, darling?
Hello, I'm really, really well, thank you.
Oh, fabulous. Right, let me tell you, I'm going to read a little bit of Marg's bio. For all the women out there, you're going to absolutely love this, especially women of 40 plus. And for guys that are listening, do you know what? If you've got a lady in your life, this will be really helpful for you to help understand what is going on within the hormones of us women. We are very special beings. So Margaret is not only just your ordinary, Margaret is not just your ordinary hormonal health expert. She's a trailblazer in women's health, an anti-diet coach, love that, and a published author dedicated to empowering women on their health journey. Her unique approach zones in on women's cycles, hormonal balance, food freedom, stress reduction, and gut health. She specializes in women's hormonal health, employing cycle tracking to boost confidence, communication, and energy, how you eat, and employing certain foods to elevate your hormonal health. We will leave it there. Wowzers. I mean, this is such a hot topic these days, hormonal health for women, isn't it? So anyway, we've got Sam here. So Sam, do you want to come and say hello?
Yeah, I do. Thanks, Kirst. That was such an awesome intro. That sounded great. Marg, thank you so much for being here with us. I just want to say how excited I am because we just had a brief chat before going live on this, and I'm right in this. I've just had some new bits and pieces come up in the last couple of months, and I'm super excited to hear more. I'm really interested to hear about your take on nutrition as well, because I follow a certain nutrition, which I feel is quite free once you get to grips with it. But the food freedom bit, I was like, oh, that's intriguing. So I'm super excited about that, and gut health, because I've struggled and suffered with gut issues since my teens, which are now resolved pretty much. So, but it's just really interesting to hear more. So thank you so much, and yeah, can't wait to hear all about you.
Oh, absolutely. So, Marg, I think the pretty obvious question really is how did you fall into this area of I love that no diet. Is that what you call it? No diet, gut health, hormonal focus. How was that, like a process that you came to, or what was it that got you here?
Well, let me take you back.
Let's go back.
Story time.
I'm crikey. I'm 49 now, so we're talking when I was 14. I don't want to know how many years ago that was, thank you.
Not count it.
But at the age of 14, I was bullied at school, which led on to me experiencing anorexia. At 15 and a half, when I was 15 and a half, my mum was diagnosed with lupus, which is an autoimmune condition. And that had the effect of snapping me out of the anorexia, as it were. The doctor, well, one of her doctors at the time said there was a chance that it could be passed on down the female side of the family.
Oh, wow.
So that kind of just switched me on to understanding, okay, autoimmune, this has something to do with the immune system. Now we're talking pre-internet at this point, so I had to go to the library, and I can remember the very first book that I looked at regarding the immune system was written in 1985. So I think times have moved on, thank God. In my 20s, my dad passed away with cancer around the stomach region. He went into A&E, and like 2 weeks later, unfortunately, he passed away. And that just kind of reinforced wanting to know more about the immune system, which eventually transgressed into learning about gut health. Through my dad passing, I experienced binge eating. Literally, I just felt lost without him. Didn't know where to turn. It just felt like it was filling a hole, shall we say.
Yeah.
I moved down to Liverpool about a year or so later after my dad's passing. stayed, well, I'm still in Merseyside now, to be quite honest with you. Stayed with that partner for a number of years. 40 hit, and got divorced from that partner. Fell into depression and lost my director's job at the time. All through this time, I was still studying gut health, still studying the immune system, which had brought in the hormonal health a little at that point. I was seeing a counsellor for quite some time because I, as I said, lost my job, got divorced, moved out of the marital home, lots of things to deal with, and about 8 or so months later, she basically said, you've got a choice, go down the same route, stay in where I was at the time, which was large scale events management, or go down, choose something that's really going to ignite your passion. And as I had experienced eating disorders, I felt that I want to help women and teens, I guess, to understand, see if I could help in any kind of way. So I trained as an anti-diet coach to start off with, which was about a year-long course. And then once you've trained, you obviously have to then start coaching people, which I did start doing. I got qualifications within gut health. Never really had the confidence to take it any further than that. COVID hit, and unfortunately my mum passed away in May 2020. And that was the point where I just said, you know what, it's now or never. I launched my business. It would have been about a month or so afterwards. Got qualifications within naturopathy and culinary medicine as well. And I guess that it's all now come together where I am doing one-to-one sessions, but I'm also doing corporate training, working at retreats as well, which is something I absolutely adore, where I either give masterclasses and I do gut health catering as well, all based around gut health and hormonal health, the food. And yeah, that's it kind of in a nutshell, to be quite honest with you. So it's been a bit of a cliche thing to say, a bit of a journey, but we all goes down those paths for a reason, I guess, and very good reason. I'm in a way very happy that all those paths led me to where I am.
Wow, thank you for sharing, Marg, and I'm just sorry to hear about your mum and your dad, and just, yeah, they're with you in spirit always.
God.
You know that. But yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because and Sam can probably relate to sort of parts of your story. Like you having that relationship with food through your anorexia and then your binge eating, which has kind of opened up that pathway for, to go down, so that you can then reach down and help other people that have been in the same boat. Because I couldn't help somebody in that situation because I've not had, those that relationship with food. So whereas you can, so it's that cliche that Tony Robbins always talks about: life is happening for you and not to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Sam, do you want to sort of add on to that?
Yeah, I'd love to. Mark, thank you so much for sharing so openly. That was lovely. I've got little truth bumps all over, and just it's so beautiful to hear. Like as you were telling your story, you can just see all the stepping stones quite clearly to how you've got to where you are now. And I also had some time of anorexia and binge eating as well. And I've just sat here like, oh wow, this is just incredible who we get to speak to. And also what you said about not having the confidence to share, I think it's all divine timing. And I think everything just pushes us and kind of makes us move into our path at whatever point is the right point, and this is the right point for you. So I'm just really excited for what you've got to bring to the world and for women that you can connect with, because it's just so misunderstood, all of this stuff. I really do think it is. And
But I love how you said, and probably love's the wrong word, like finding out about your mum's autoimmune and how potentially that could have been passed on. At such a young age, you took the bull by the horns, for want of a better word, and went, right, I'm going to go research this. That's such a mature thing to do for a 15-year-old, to go, right, I'm going to look into this. I'm going to find out about this. And then it's like the dots, everything sort of started opening up.
Incredible.
What
I just want to add to that, is like that's an unusual thing. Not everyone at such a young age would go, hang on a minute. I know I certainly didn't. I went off the rails to escape everything. Whereas it feels like you actually were able to hone in at that point and develop all this over a meandering a time. It's lovely.
Yeah, I definitely a bit of a geek, I'd say.
I think it served you very well.
It's paid off, hasn't it? So Marg, tell us about sort of, because I mean, you can't switch the TV on or get onto Instagram or somewhere without hormonal health coming up, like perimenopause, menopause. It is just such a hot topic right now. And actually, myself and Sam were just talking about, I mean, like we're both sort of in our mid-40s, shall we call it? And like we were just talking about how we can feel our body changing, like the muscle density is now starting to fall by the wayside, and like things are happening in our legs. It's like, what's going on? So you want to sort of share a little bit about hormonal health and what's going on for women, and how we can navigate this time, because I'm pretty much oblivious to all this. This is I'm like, okay, educate me.
Okie doke. So I feel this we are seeing a lot more symptoms when it comes to perimenopause and menopause than ever before.
Why is that?
My personal take on this is the way that we're living as women is extremely fast-paced. It has gone beyond fast-paced as far as I'm concerned, to a next level. Yes, I think our wonderful mothers set us up for great things and saying you can have it all, but it has got to the point now, and probably when they was, when they were younger as well, that we're expected to do it all, which really does have a detrimental effect on our hormones in such a way that, and I don't know whether you've looked into this at all, but cortisol is literally running through our systems full blast all the time. And if that is running through your system all the time, that has such a huge effect on estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone. More so with progesterone, literally because that is the calming hormone. And cortisol and progesterone just do not get on.
Right. Yeah.
And it's progesterone that keeps estrogen under check. So if that's out of whack, your estrogen creeps up.
I'm just writing notes here, by the way.
So am I. Like, sorry, the interviewers are too engrossed in what you're saying to keep their interview skills going.
So the first
start, get your notepad out. Sorry, go on. Sorry,
so the first thing I'd say for women to really understand is that in trying to do everything, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. And I know we all say self-care, take care of yourself, relax, but putting this into perspective, you either start relaxing or you lose these hormones even more so. And if you're losing these hormones even more so, believe me, that has such a huge knock-on effect that people are now researchers are now finding out that women are very much more susceptible to Alzheimer's, this is literally because the hormones that we are losing lead to us being more susceptible to Alzheimer's. So if you want to keep Alzheimer's at bay, start relaxing, ladies.
Absolutely. I love this. So it's really interesting for me. Before I left the UK, so I've been in Mexico 2 years actually, 2.5. I feel I was getting what might be deemed as perimenopause symptoms, with hot flushes and mood swings that I've never experienced before, like the rage that came up, and like I wanted to get in the freaking freezer, like those sorts of things, quite standard. But I was like, right, okay, this is definitely happening. I came to Mexico, radically changed my lifestyle. Within 3 to 4 months, those symptoms disappeared. My nutrition changed, my schedule changed, my thinking changed. I went deep into self-love and all those sorts of things. Not everyone can do that. Not everyone can just disappear off to Mexico and radically change their lifestyle. But it just made it really obvious to me that actually lifestyle changes and nutrition are kind of key with this. But now it's like, how do we help women in standard lifestyles to achieve that? So yeah, it's just super interesting, and the fact that you're talking in the same language is really gives me hope that this is getting more and more out there and we can help more people.
Absolutely. I mean, with both hormonal health and gut health, people think that the first thing you need to look at is at food. Yes, that is a huge thing. But if you do not address stress, then whatever you do is going to be an absolute waste of time.
Agreed.
So, Marg, what sort of calming, de-stressing activities, things to do would you recommend to your clients? Just to give some people some ideas, because they may have some ideas, you know, going for a walk and stuff like that. But
Very first thing, dive, breathing from the diaphragm. There's so much scientific research behind this now that I don't think every person that I work with, every person I speak to, I ask them just to observe the breath just for a minute. And like, virtually all the time it's coming from the chest.
Yeah.
If it's coming from the chest, that's a stress response straight away. So breathing from the diaphragm first, absolute first thing to do. And just start checking in with yourself as often as you possibly can, how we're breathing. Because there's actually, I think, a study being done quite recently. When people open the emails, the chest breathing starts coming in. So just notice your working day. When is this happening? When can I just take a few more deeper breaths to calm this down? Because the way we are these days is that the fight and flight is dominating your rest and digest the whole time.
Yeah.
Good idea would be to like maybe set an alarm once, you know, each hour.
Exactly.
You know, to just go, okay, you know, remind yourself of, because when you are in the storm of stress and deadlines, everything, you know, everything goes out the window. Got something that's going to bring you back to breath, you know, just that trigger for you. Yeah. Absolutely. It's something so simple, isn't it, that we've got at our disposal at any time, and you know, it's not like we need to go and do something extra. It's within us.
We're already doing it.
Yeah, we're all doing it. We're all doing it,
not
but
properly.
Definitely not. And I think I see the eyes rolling as if someone tells me do a breathing exercise. Oh, for God's sake, really? No, you don't need to do a specific breathing exercise because it might not be the right breathing exercise for you. Just tune into your breath and just slow it down and breathe from your diaphragm.
That's really lovely. Because I think I'm a Pilates teacher, yoga teacher, and I do breath work. But sometimes if you're in a really busy life, you're not going to go, square breath, 4-point breathing, 8-2, 8-2, like, oh, so just take a breath, just 3 breaths actually, and hand on heart maybe is very helpful, just to center. Just, breath is just so beautiful actually, but just simplifying this for people. It's key.
I'm working in school at the moment, and like some kids come into the classroom and they're just feeling totally overwhelmed. So I just take them outside and I'm like, right, just stop. And I said, right, put your hand on your belly. I said, I want you to blow that up and breathe, because we're not. It's ridiculous, isn't it? We're not taught any of how to breathe. So, like kids are walking around breathing from the chest, and so if we could just sort of instill that, at a young age, then when we get to, the older years and, like when life hits, it's already a mechanism that we instinctively know how to, that we're breathing properly and solve so many issues for everybody, wouldn't it? So, it's definitely something that I've been sort of bringing in to the kids. And actually I've got a fitness lesson coming up for some kiddies, so I'm going to sit down, get them sitting down and just breathing properly from right at the start. So thank you, just gave me an idea there.
Some Wim Hof with them.
Yeah, can you imagine? But
so Mark, so breath is the first thing that you would suggest. Where do you have like a little, like a 5 points? What are your top 5 points just to get started, or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. As well, the rate at what we eat has a lot to do with our health. If we are constantly rushing around the whole time, guaranteed we're eating at such a quick pace that it's really not going to do us any benefit at all. So what I'd say to people is, again, check in with yourself. Am I feeling stressed at the moment before you eat? Because that brings in the gut health element of it. If you're eating under stress, that food's not going to get anywhere around the body, stays in the stomach, turns to fat. You're not going to get any benefit or nutrients going round the body. Stop. Am I feeling stressed? Breathe. Bring that.
Sorry to interrupt, because they do say when you're stressed, you hold it around. I mean, is everybody the same? You hold it around your middle. So is that why? Because you're eating and your body's in such high alert that it's not able to distribute the nutrients where it's needed to. So it just stores, it stays in your stomach.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, it will eventually take that and change it into fat for storage. That is what our body does when we're under constant stress, because it feels that it just needs to survive. And how our body survives is it stores fat to use as glucose later.
Yeah.
That's a lovely sciencey way of explaining that. Thank you. Because I work with energy more. Like, I believe if we're in a certain state, that energy is going into the food, and then it's changing it energetically. But that's really lovely, is that it's then will be stored as fat cells rather than going off and doing what it's meant to do. It's so good to have different points of view on all of these things to give to people, because everyone receives information in a different way. So thank you for that. That's lovely.
Yeah. So we've got breath work, sort of mindful eating, would you say then? That's what
I'd definitely say that, yeah, absolutely. Just taking that little bit of time to slow down when you eat. As well, start noticing how you're actually feeling around your cycle. And what I mean by that, obviously, there's times when we are naturally more low on energy, more naturally full of energy, more naturally wanting to probably hit someone. And more naturally want to stay in our own space. So there's definite times within the cycle that actually happens. Start tuning into that, so you can start then understanding where your different hormones are throughout the month. We all start with hormones low. Estrogen then creeps up, which is then met with a little bit of progesterone, testosterone, and that is when we're feeling at our best. Normally about the week before your period, that's when progesterone comes in. That is when we should be more feeling calmer, but that's when you want to hibernate. So start tuning into all those different, many people call them phases. I call them either my Wonder Woman phase, or my Captain America phase, or my Poison Ivy phase.
Nice.
That.
So we've got Wonder Woman phase.
Yeah.
What were the others?
Captain America.
Brilliant.
And Poison Ivy, all lovely Marvel characters.
Oh my God, that's super funny.
That's a brilliant way to look at it. And it's
And
interesting.
very helpful for the men.
I know, absolutely.
I'm feeling very Wonder Woman today.
Good.
One of our guests a couple of guests ago, Alice, she came on, was talking about, cyclical living and living by your, like working and living by your cycle, so knowing when you're in that high energy, that's your time, like you say, your Wonder Woman time to, get shit done. And then like when you're falling out of that and into, maybe the next character, the next Marvel character, the hibernating time. So, and that's not how us women in society, can work, because like you say, it's about being it all and matching the men and outworking the men so that we're proving ourselves.
But we're not meant to.
A bit of a pickle, really, hasn't it? A hot mess. That's a good way of putting it. And totally ignoring that cycle and overriding it. And it's nature at the end of the day. And we really have to start listening to our bodies, to the natural way of being. Because when you come out of that, that's when you're out of alignment, out of sync. Sorry, Sam.
Yeah, that's why we've got all of these symptoms that we used to have, right? Because everyone is powering through Monday through Saturday. I mean, lucky if you take a 1 day off a week.
Yeah.
Every day. It's like, when do we listen to our bodies and come into that natural cycle? So, but it's so difficult for women and with their families and the way society is at the moment. So any of these little nuggets that we can give just to help soften that, and just knowing, I've loved this. I've really started to go into the whole cyclical cycle and started to plan my diary around it. And if I feel like I'm in a hyper focus, I'm like, everything stops. I'm not doing anything other than hyper focusing. I've got lots to do. Let's get it done in this week. Then I can chill out next week and sloth or hibernate or whatever it is I want to do. So I've really been doing that. And then now my cycle's starting to not be regular. And I'm not feeling bad about it or anything like that. But it's just maybe going, damn, I was just getting to grips with how this is going. And now it's like, I've had 3 this month. Like, what do I do? So
what does that mean, that Sam's sort of having 3 periods in 1 month? I mean, what would you say is happening there?
Obviously hormones are starting to come down for her, because I presume you will be in perimenopause phase, and it's a completely natural thing for hormones to start actually coming. It is a completely natural thing. What I would say, Christmas, New Year can put us out of kilter a bit, literally, because we do run around a bit before Christmas, and Christmas itself can be a little bit stressful. So don't be surprised if January and February your periods are a little bit out of sync.
Yeah.
You have
I
had
mean,
quite a stressful time though, Sam, over these last couple of months, haven't you?
stressful, but not the standard Christmas stress. I moved from one
No.
side of Mexico to the other and had a transition. So actually, yeah, that's really interesting. But also the last year, I moved to Thailand. I was there for 3 months. I had quite a lot going on, but I've noticed that they used to be like spot on, know the day, 3 days, done, no issues, nothing, like bang, bang, bang. And it was lovely. And then I started skipping a month and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then they've just started to not be quite on time some months. And then and it's just, and so I'm kind of seeing the pattern change quite, that it's regularly different rather than just being a regular pattern.
Mhm.
And I'm not worried about any of it. And I'm very thankful that my lifestyle is such that I didn't go mad at Christmas. I didn't drink loads of booze and I didn't eat loads of stuff because I know I'd be in a right old pickle if I had. But just how to sort of navigate not knowing when it's arriving is another thing. It's like, God, yeah, it's really interesting. And I'm really, really interested in what foods can we introduce
Mhm.
to help? And what is it that's dropping? Am I losing estrogen? Is that why my muscle tone is different? Or like, so what is the sort of sciencey stuff behind it to help my brain make sense of it?
So what I'd suggest, if it's muscle that you're wanting to keep hold of, it's the Captain America phase, which is, let's see if I can remember. You're talking probably around about day around about 11 to 15 to 16 of your cycle. When basically the time where you're feeling your best, that's when testosterone comes in to say hello.
Okay.
And it's because when testosterone comes in, that is when you can build more muscle. Then I'm not saying don't do weights at any other time, but that is the time to probably up your weights a little bit more.
That's really
So
cool.
interesting. Oh my goodness, because I thought it would just be, right, let's start lifting weights. There's not actually a science to when
Mhm.
for you. That's
That's
incredible.
really good. I get bored really easily. The last thing I want to do is lift weights every day. So if I
Yeah,
know that I can have a window where I can go weight mad,
absolutely. Yes.
so this is just going to be a Q&A. Oh, sorry, I've got so
I
many.
know it's
Um,
so we
so
should get our questions answered. Everybody, I hope you're getting value from this, by the way. I'm sure you are.
oh, they absolutely will. I'm sure many people go, well,
We are.
everyone's going to go
Got the
this
same
at some
questions
point.
as we have.
But
So,
when it comes to food, sorry to go back
yeah,
to
no,
your
please
earlier
do.
question. So there's definitely different phases where it's beneficial to eat different foods. From the first day of your breed to around about day 10 to 11, this is when your estrogen is more in play, and estrogen doesn't get on with insulin. So that
Doesn't get
might
on
give
with what?
insulin.
Okay,
So this is the time where it's more beneficial to keep your glucose a little bit lower. So
great.
I wouldn't suggest keto because I never suggest a complete diet, but just have in mind
Sure.
to keep the carbs a little bit lower. Eat more fibrous food, eat more fats, and eat more protein.
Interesting. This
Is
is
what
so
you want
interesting.
to
So I
do is get
food
the estrogen.
combine, but so food combining for me is I don't mix certain things and um it's low carb but not no carb at
Mhm.
all. And if I'm eating carbs, I eat a lot of them and I really enjoy it. But having this to know when in your cycle to adjust it is lovely. So estrogen, no, not happy. So reduce glucose. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's day 1 to 11.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
When
Okay.
when all your hormones come in together, I call that a little bit of that is when you want to take the benefit of your hormones and have them boosting up, but be aware that you don't want estrogen to kind of take over the whole party. So
Mm,
what I'd suggest around that time is a little bit more of a kind of hormone feasting. So bring in things like a little bit of sweet potato, more fibrous veg, more cruciferous veg, literally, so you're keeping your gut health there, but you're also cleansing the liver as well, because estrogen is broken down in the liver. So the more healthy your liver is, the more easy it is to break down any kind of excess estrogen.
So do you think that would be a good time to do a bit more cleansing then, a bit more detoxing type thing?
By all means, yeah.
Because the estrogen is actually, okay, to clear that from, that's so, all three.
And what days
That's
are those?
amazing.
11 to what, Marg, would you say?
Obviously it's different to everyone. It's probably around about a 5 to 6 day window.
Right.
When everything, you know, those 5 or 6 days when you're feeling absolutely amazing. Life is just wonderful, and then bam, it all goes.
Yeah. Please have had those 5 to 6 days.
And so would you suggest then in that little window of not having foods that up your estrogen because it's already...
You want to more create better, I'm not saying better gut health, but you want to create pathways that you can actually manage the estrogen, because you want you want the testosterone to come in there naturally. And if anyone is estrogen dominant, testosterone will never ever shine.
And that's lovely to say that we want testosterone to shine, because I feel like it gets a bit bashed.
Yeah, it does, but it's needed.
It's an important thing. How would you know if your testosterone is low or not active, or however you...
If within that 5-day window you're not feeling at your best, let's just say you're feeling anxious, you're feeling tired, you're feeling low, that could be a sign.
So interesting. But the way to deal with that is to detox, release the excess estrogen, to allow your natural testosterone to come through and be in balance.
Yeah.
Okay. Because some people be like, oh, let's up the testosterone.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just taking a pill to fix it or whatever. So this is finding a way
I mean,
to...
I'm never a person to say, you know, if you want to go down the road of HRT or whatever, that is entirely up to yourself. Absolutely. I'd never stop anyone doing that, but this is a way that you can naturally help yourself.
It's amazing. And it's giving people the option, because I don't think it's always been there. It's just not been given as an option. So, and I do know women that have taken HRT and it's really helped, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
But then there's other women that don't really want to take it and feel that there isn't another way. So or can't take it because it sends them slightly doolally and other bits and pieces, right? So really, really interesting. So we've got day 1 to 11, estrogen, lowering the glucose to allow that to do its magic. Then we are helping the testosterone and what's that? The other one?
Progesterone.
I can't say it. Progesterone. Progesterone. Okay, great.
That word.
So where does that sit in all of this, and what does that do for us?
That is in those 5 days, yes, it does blip, as in it does come in slightly, because obviously all 3 hormones are coming together, but that really comes into play about a week before you bleed.
Okay. So that's the end of the cycle. Well,
yeah.
Okay. So that 5 days, and that's when we're going to be active and we're going to get all our stuff done and just be hyper focused and all those sorts of lovely things.
Yeah. Now,
and then what happens after that?
I'm not saying like obviously we're feeling a little bit exhausted the first, I'd probably say 3 days that you're on your bleed. After that, things do start getting exceptionally better. After those 5 days, your hormones do somewhat come down.
They drop, right?
Yeah, you're back into the way of eating as we started with. So more more foods that are going to be less in glucose.
Right.
And then the week before you bleed, that is when you need to start upping your glucose, because progesterone gets on very well with glucose.
It's fascinating.
It's just getting getting the right pairs together, isn't it? And making sure that they're dancing the same tune rather than,
So this is so interesting. So
but it's
I think
progesterone that doesn't like cortisol. So
in that last week is the time to be going like heavier on the self-care, self-love, bringing it all in. Is that a time to sort of just be a bit inward and a bit quiet and a bit gentle?
yeah, that's it. That's when I do my admin. The stuff that I really wouldn't want to do at any other time, but I can just plow through it then, because it's pretty monotonous, but you know, it's not stuff that's going to send me
not
stressed.
the energetic.
No.
And you can be in your home environment, and you can have all, that's super lovely. So we've got 4 phases basically.
You've
and
got
then
you've got the Wonder Woman phase, which comes in to start off with, and then it's that round about 4 or 5 to 6 days before you go into the week before you bleed. So there's Wonder Woman phase, Captain America, which is your whole singing and dancing, you're feeling your best, and then the Poison Ivy.
Brilliant way to brilliant way
but
to
what I
visualize it.
Really, it's really helpful. But just what I'm really intrigued, I've never heard about this last phase when. So is it when you're bleeding that you're upping your glucose?
No.
It's the week before.
It's the week before.
Oh, so day 1 is the top. Yeah, just got it. So
it's
the week before. And so would that be like what I would call, that's when I want the comfort food. That's when I naturally crave that sort of thing.
Exactly. Your body's craving it, and there's a blooming good reason that it's craving it.
Right. So it's all right, as long as it's the healthier options of those cravings.
I'd say, like, don't be shy with the sweet potatoes. Have some of usual potatoes as well. More of your starchy stuff.
Yeah.
That's so good. Okay, amazing. And then, so is estrogen dropping one of the biggest issues? Because I've been doing a bit of research on this, and I'm seeing things that you need to up your estrogen with foods. Do you think that's correct, or is that not quite right?
I would say that progesterone needs to have a little bit more of a help, so that can manage the estrogen more.
Manages the estrogen. And so what helps the progesterone?
So what helps the progesterone is being in that calmer way of life the week before, but also having more carb laden foods. But when I say carb laden foods, I'm meaning slower releasing carbs.
Yeah.
And non-processed.
Yeah.
So whole foods, but the high starch carbs. And so then that's kind of preparing yourself for the week of your period.
Exactly.
And will help.
That's putting you in the best frame. So the cramps are less.
Yeah.
And you're giving your chance if progesterone's got its chance to shine, it is going to make sure that estrogen is coming in much better.
This is so helpful. Thank you so much. It's given me a little roadmap, and it's also, it really satisfies my variety
Fantastic
value. Like I can't do the same thing every day. I don't know how anyone eats, like it's too regimented. No. I can't bear it. But now I know I've got a week of carbs. I'm like, woohoo.
That's so interesting, because the way we eat in our house, Mondays is this, Tuesdays is this, because we haven't got the capacity to think of different meals.
Yeah.
working and all that sort of, and the kids. So this is going to actually make me start thinking a little bit outside the box instead of Tuesday is this, Wednesday.
Lovely.
Because I mean, and so many families that I know do exactly the same. Monday is, so it's just a bit of a wake up to go, okay, and I need to move my nutrition around to suit me, and the rest of the family can. I mean, how does eating like that affect the males in the house? It may be the same as what I'm eating.
I love that laugh. I'm like, I can't wait.
No, because I ain't making loads of deals. No, sorry. Yeah, how does
I get what you're saying, because
work for men?
I get what you're saying, because this is an area I have also gone into with, let's just say, men over 40 now getting a bit more of a punch, and definitely the moves coming in. I'll be honest with you, I feel that this is coming from a lot of the processed food. A lot of that has xenoestrogens in it. And I don't know how much you know about xenoestrogens, but literally they're chemical estrogens basically that we're ingesting. And that is going to have a huge effect no matter whether you're male or female. But if it's happening within a male, that means that the estrogen is creeping up, and it's having a huge effect on the testosterone. So that's dropping off. So more whole foods, more fiber, they're going to be in a hell of a much better situation.
Yeah,
that's fabulous.
So really the message is get rid of the processed food, whatever processed food you've got, just as much as you can.
I know it's blooming difficult, but the fact that the stuff that this food, I say food, it's more of a product.
I was going to say something.
Yeah, what this has actually got in, the fact that whatever it is, let's just say if it is a meat product, that meat has got growth hormones in, it's got it's got so many different things in that it's going to be passed on to you, and you're going to ingest all this kind of stuff. So it is going to have a huge effect. Hence, there's so many things going on, I believe, with younger girls these days getting the periods.
I was just about to ask you that. Do you think that's why younger girls are now having their periods so much younger, because of all the drugs that have been put into meats that they are ingesting?
I would definitely say that has something to do with it, but even the vegetables that we're eating have, they've been tampered with quite a lot, unfortunately. So I know organic is a lot more expensive, and I'm not saying change all that, but just start looking at what you're actually putting in your mouth. It's got a huge effect.
Huge.
This is so lovely. I mean, my philosophy around all of this is organic where possible. I'm plant-based. I don't eat animal products other than eggs. I eat organic eggs where I can. And I've cut pretty much most processed. I have my cheat treat days, whatever you want to call them, but I know I'm clean enough now to be able to handle it, and I know what to do about that. So that's great. But to hear this from a hormonal point of view, which is I've said this to clients, but it doesn't seem to be landing. So it's so great to have you on here to just really reinforce that. It's like the stuff that's in the products, because I can't call it food either. It's insane. And it's changing everything. But also we can reverse it by changing our lifestyles and what we put in our bodies, and just but having the sort of the sciencey side of this to back it up is super important, and such a help for people, I think. So it's amazing. And now I've just got a whole new cycle to deal with.
Exciting. Marg, going back to what you said at the start, how your mum was diagnosed with lupus. and that it potentially could be passed on. Could I ask you, has that been passed on?
Well, I'm 49 now. She was 45 at the time. I can say at this stage it definitely hasn't.
Amazing.
That's incredible. And do you feel that, I mean, I don't know if you know, but could you say that that's because of your lifestyle and the choices you've made with your nutrition and, you know, dealing with stress and lifestyle? Would you say that's a massive factor as to why it hasn't? Because we all know about the epigenetics and, you know, how, you know, just because it's in our family, we can change that within our
I'd say it's definitely had a huge effect, absolutely, because even just, I mean, I did manage to change somewhat of the way that my mum ate and what have you, but she was under the belief that the NHS was there and that it would help. Yes, I've got nothing against the NHS, but unfortunately, I'd like to say the way GPs are trained to a certain extent, and I know myself certain things that inflame the body in regards to autoimmune conditions that I wouldn't put into my body. So I think that has hugely helped.
Wow, well, I hope, you know, like the people listening whose whose parents have possibly got or had an autoimmune, that this gives a bit of hope for them, that, you know, if they do change their nutrition, their lifestyle, they're not potentially going to go down the same route as their parent who had it. So, wow, thank you for being the evidence. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's also empowering, because I think that whole system takes away our natural healing power. And to know that just because it's not hereditary, that whole thing, I think it plays a part, but I think it's both. It's environment as well, and it's what we're surrounding ourselves and what we're putting in our body. So actually, you can choose a different path. And hearing things like this shows you that it is possible, and there are ways to do it. So I think that's amazing. Really, really great. And the fact that you're using your journey to empower others to help heal themselves, it's awesome. Absolutely love it. So you're also a published author. So what's your book?
Oh, I wish I had a copy. Okay.
It's all right. We'll grab a
next time, because we're definitely having you back on here, Marg.
Yeah, totally.
There's more to talk about here.
We'll go into the book on the next episode with you. That would be wonderful. But just let us know, what's the title of the book?
It's called True Taste.
True Taste. Okay.
Yeah. Literally bringing back the true taste to food.
Oh my God.
Nice. Oh,
sounds absolutely amazing.
Not drowned
I'm just
out
going to do a little
with salt and all that.
I'm doing a little time check.
I know. So we're just lucky. Well, I tell you what, Marg, we're definitely gonna have to have you back on. There's so much more to talk about, and I'm definitely gonna listen back to this and take some more notes, because my notes have got a bit AWOL. But I think Sam can put some notes in there. You've got them all. You've got a little chart.
I've got reams. I've got reams of notes. We're just gonna, if you're all right to stay for maybe another 10 minutes. There's a couple that we do ask some questions, and it's kind of what we do in. So we're Rise Tribe, and we've used the word rise as an anagram. And we're just going to ask you what a couple of these words mean to you. Okay. So, what does rejuvenate mean to you?
Oh my word!
I know, we're putting you on the spot.
I'd say refresh.
Like pressing that button.
Yeah,
that's what
absolutely.
Press the button.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we all get to do that, right? Whenever we choose.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so I is inspire. Inspire. Bring up. Good words, aren't they?
What inspires me, or
just what does inspire?
What does it feel? What does it mean?
Bring up.
Oh, I don't know why this is just coming to my head. Divine intervention.
Oh, lovely. No more needs to be said on that one.
Yeah, no.
Wow. Okay, strengthen.
Strengthen. Oh, power. Power and empowering.
Mm,
And that's
okay.
so apt because we met an empowered woman, didn't we? So
Absolutely.
we'll bring that one in. Elaine Bonfrere's little baby. And finally, E for elevates.
Elevate. I'd say for elevate, that is probably how I feel this year is going to go. We've been
Mm.
through such a lot of, and I am going to swear, so you might want to, I don't know whether
Carry
you
on.
No, you're fine.
No
We
filter.
swear.
there's been we have been through such a lot of shit over these past few years
Mm.
that I feel that the way that the earth is, that it's turning, and people like yourselves and myself are now on a path to elevate people to a better place.
Beautiful.
And that's really the whole idea of Rise Tribe, isn't it? You know, like we
Yeah.
rise up and we all rise up together. It sounds really corny, but linking arms and
No, it's
let's all rise together. Yeah.
and
Right.
do you know what, guys? There's more and more of us, and I think we're all stepping into confidence with it. And I'm so happy, Mark, that you've found your confidence in everything that you do, because it's amazing, and that you're sharing this.
And passing that
So
confidence on to others.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Remind me the book name. True
True
Taste.
taste.
Right.
Yeah.
I need a copy of that myself, but I'll
Where
grab the
find
details
it on
from you.
Amazon, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
We'll
you
get
find
we'll
it
get
on
we'll,
Amazon,
We'll
get
or
the
you
we'll
can
link.
put that
or you can
in the
find it on
show
my
notes.
website, which is
Amazing.
a new website which I just released a couple of weeks ago.
Exciting. Oh,
Um,
congratulations. What's your website, darling? Is that a good place for people to find you?
Absolutely, margaretbell.co.uk.
Nice and easy, margaretbell.co.uk. That will go in the
And
show notes
also,
as well.
Margaret, you've got a membership.
I have
A little bit about,
indeed.
just touch on your membership. We can talk more about
Yeah,
it.
let us know.
Yeah,
Let's-
yeah. I literally launched this membership a couple of weeks ago because I do have one-to-one clients that I work with in hormonal health. Quite deep, to be quite honest with you, from everything from your perimenopause, menopause, to PCOS, endometriosis, that kind of thing.
Brilliant.
And I just felt that the membership is there for women to find out more about the hormonal health, to cut through the crap that we're told about hormonal health and just give it to them straight about what is exactly going on, what the different hormones are there for. Yes, it does hone in on the sex hormones, but there's so many different hormones that affect those. So understanding more about those really, really helps. And then how they can manage their hormonal health themselves.
So good. So good. And that's accessible through your website.
It is, yeah.
Amazing. We'll get all of that in the notes, lovely. And
So needed.
we're gonna have to have another one, because I need to read the book, and then we can talk about that as well.
100%.
No problem.
Yeah.
And I'm also in the UK this summer, and Kirsty and I are going to be putting on a Rise Tribe Festival. Please come. Please
I
come.
will, definitely.
Come and chat. Come and do
Yeah,
workshops.
workshop.
It's all about it's all about collaboration and just bringing like-minded people together, and we're definitely like-minded. It's
Exciting.
lovely, super
So
exciting.
exciting. Oh, Margaret, thank you
Mm.
so much for coming here and sharing your story so openly and so vulnerably. I just think there's so many people listening will be able to see themselves somewhere in your story. So thank you, darling, and thank you for answering our question.
Put me on the spot.
It's
I
been
know.
wonderful.
You definitely know
It's
your
been
stuff,
really
Margaret. You definitely know your stuff. So
absolutely. And I just want to say, like, thank you for telling it straight, because I think that's really lacking.
Yeah.
And to have someone like yourself tell it how it is, but in a really soft, calm approach. I think it's going to be very accessible to everyone. So thank you so much.
I
It's
don't
been so
think I'll
great
ever
to
look
spend
at
this time with
Marvel
you.
characters the same again.
No,
It's just such a great, you know, it's Wonder Woman, Captain America, Poison
I want a
Ivy.
Wonder Woman suit now.
Yeah. I'm like, Ian, I'm Poison Ivy today. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
It's so great for men to get this information, and then if women can start living in these lovely cycles. I want to get on to also like what we do when the period stops and how we navigate that, but we're going to have to do that in the next one.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay.
Oh, Margaret,
Awesome.
thank you so much. And thank you to everybody for listening. And please get in touch with Margaret through a website, through a social media. We'll put all the links in the show notes, or Sam will. And thank you, Margaret. That was just awesome.
Yeah.
Absolute awesome
Thank
conversation. So, right, have a great evening, day, morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for listening. Sam, do you want last words?
Just thanks so much for being here. So much fun as always. I love what we do, Kirst. It's awesome.
I know.
And yeah, we'll see you in the next one, and we're definitely going to have Marg back on. This has been amazing. Thank you so much.
Loads of love.